Okay, just to start off with it, for the people who don't know who you are or what you do, what is it that you do and who you are in a sense?
So my name's Chiedu Oraka, aka the Black Yorkshireman, and I am a rapper, a poet, and a mentor from Norfolk Estate, basically.
Oh, cool. So obviously going into that kind of like what obviously you say you're a rapper, poet and everything. What kind of things do you do like in that sort of era, if that makes sense, like in that sort of area?
So yeah, I record songs, obviously my own songs. Uh, do a lot of writing. Do you know what I mean? Put on my own events. Uh, put out my own merchandise.
Yeah.
Uh, dabbled in like spoken word, in theatre. I've got obviously a recording studio, what a lot of local artists use. So yeah, sit on panels. Yeah, man, I'm just a jack of all trades, I suppose.
Cool. Is it any
Master of none.
like it's good to be kind of like, varied. Is there anything within that that you kind of prefer more than say something else would
Yeah,
be?
I'm an artist at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like I'm a performer. I like being on stage. Do you know what I mean? I like telling stories, my story, other people's stories, and I do that through music and spoken word and the podcast as well. What I also put out. But yeah, definitely a performer, an artist. That is me.
Suppose you're like able to like let yourself kind of be free and speak your mind about either people judging or like people relating towards that, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Obviously, because you say you're like from Hull, and do you think from being from Hull has kind of helped you in your progression as an artist, or do you
Uh,
think things that's helped?
I think like it's been a gift and a curse, if I'm going to be real. I think in terms of like opportunities, industry wise, it's not great being from a city like Hull, because especially in my industry, like it's all, well, I'd say it's 90% southern based.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
All the big opportunities are down in London. All the A&Rs are in London. All the labels are in London. Most of the big events are in London. So that's a disadvantage. So opportunities, yeah, definitely a disadvantage. But I feel like where I'm from has helped me sort of home in on my craft. Definitely, it's made me. I think it's made me improve. Do you know what I mean? Like I have to when I go down to London, I have to like be on my A game, and I feel like Hull's a very good place to have a foundation and build a
Yeah.
fan base. And it just makes me stand out as well. So when I am down south, like when this big black kid walks into the room, like, and I come out with like a northern, proper broad Yorkshire accent, I feel like it's a bit of a selling point. So yeah, that's the gift and the curse.
It's obviously like so going on that. Obviously there's a lot of Hull coming artists, whether it's like rappers, bands, musicians, like quite a lot of new
Mm,
bands coming into the scene, which obviously is great
mm.
to see. But do you think that there's any sort of thing that could probably help them within Hull to kind of, like develop themselves as a band and an artist? Like
Just
anything that,
feel like that. Yeah, I feel like that. I think I've spoke to Dom about this before. I just feel like there needs to be just more of a infrastructure,
mm,
more more, I suppose, more booking agents, more people putting on events, more people that want to be managers. Because it's
mm,
not all you like. Don't you like it? It's not always like the artist. You know what I mean? Like we've got loads of artists in Hull. Like we need managers. Yeah, A&Rs, cameramen. Build more of an infrastructure here rather than maybe some local labels as well. Obviously, I know we've got Warren Records, but we probably need some more. So yeah, I would say we're lacking
yeah.
an infrastructure, more of a business side as well. Like I feel like a lot of these artists need to know the business, because I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of them don't know the business, but sometimes it's not really their fault. It's because they haven't been opened up to it.
Would you think like maybe more promotion kind of from these like businesses, like kind of having them help like with promotion would like, kind of open doors to musicians as well as the businesses as well as the music scene, so I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I just feel like there's just a real lack of knowledge. I
Yeah.
feel like when I speak to a lot of these young artists and bands and stuff, they don't really know what they're doing, which is a good thing, because they can be. To be honest with you, it is a good thing. because having that naivety is actually good, because then you're not too concentrated on the business and the music industry. You can just be free and
Yeah,
and sort of and make whatever music you want to make. I suppose when you do start knowing about the industry, sometimes your craft sort of suffers, because you want to start making music to sort of fit into the industry. So again, it is a bit of a gift and a curse, but you do need to know about the industry. If you're an artist, you do need to know about like your PRS and your PPL and syncs and your publishing and all that rubbish. Like, you do need to know about that. And I do feel like, unfortunately, we do lack a bit of knowledge of all that sort of stuff in a place like Hull, where like if you did have more industry professionals based in our city, then we would be more clued up.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know from like, obviously, because I'm like a young person myself, like, and I remember when I was like kind of 60, because I'm 21 now, and I remember when I was like 16, 17 sort of area, I remember there was like workshops that kind of were through funding and, you know, like kind of like how the music industry works and trying to bring these young people into like the industry.
Yeah.
But they really like continued, they kind of just stopped when I was like,
yeah.
and it's like, for the people who wasn't like in that sort of category back when I was 16, 17, like the new and up and coming artists didn't really get that. I suppose maybe bringing that back might actually help.
Yeah, definitely bring that back. Definitely bring that back. Like I say, that's really what I think we're lacking. And like I say, other roles, like you don't have to be the main person on the stage. Like, you can be an artist manager, you can be a talent scout, you can put on events, you can be a booking agent. Do you know what I mean? You can try and open a venue. Like, it's not always about the artists. Like, in other cities, these roles are filled. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like for us to have a proper scene, that needs to happen. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm not discrediting the people that do that, because there is people that do put on events and who are just not the artist in Hull. But I feel like we need a new wave. We need the new generation need to fill these positions. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, would you say as well, obviously, because before like the whole pandemic and everything, it was kind of slightly peaking at that point of music kind of becoming quite prominent in Hull. And I think maybe some of these positions were filled back then, but then obviously the pandemic happened, venues were closing. Do you think that like kind of affected people's confidence?
Yeah, maybe. I think I think it did. It probably did. But I'm not here for excuses. Do you know what I mean? Like, every other city has had them same issues. Do you know what I mean? But other cities, I'd say, are flourishing just a little bit more than us. But the good thing about Hull is we have got that DIY attitude. Do you know what I mean? Like, we have got that fighting spirit. So hopefully things will change in that aspect.
Yeah. Well, obviously, going kind of keeping on the same sort of topic, obviously some up-and-coming bands have been doing quite well, obviously, despite all these sort of changes. Would you say that, like, obviously, what is good about like Hull's like scene at the moment? Like, what's the positives about it, in your opinion?
I think what's good is like we always have a conveyor belt of artists. Do you know what I mean? I'd like to see more diversity. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, which I do think there has been. Obviously, I'm a rapper, so I'm always going to fight for the rappers' causes. Obviously, it's a lot's changed since when I first came out. There will always be bands in Hull. We've created some of England's best ever bands. Do you know what I mean? Like, there will always be bands in Hull, and I feel like they'll always have that attitude, that punk attitude, do it yourself attitude. Like, we're a bit of a rebellious city. Do you know what I mean? And like I say, that goes to our advantage. So there'll always be music. I think there'll always be things going on. I don't think that will ever stop.
Yeah, and I think that's quite a positive thing about Hull. Like, I've noticed, I know quite a couple of friends who like in the music scene and everything, and I've noticed a lot of them now do play to the fact that they're from Hull, they're from Yorkshire, and they're quite proud of it. And I think that's something that's quite special within like the whole music scene in general. I think it's something that really, like you said earlier, it makes you different when you're in London, like gigging and whatnot. I think it's something that's quite unique, and people are kind of don't know who it is, but also at the same time they do it. And like when people come down to Hull to play, they're like, oh, it's such like a supportive sort of kind of like a little, like a massive village in a way. Like everyone knows everyone, everyone supports everyone.
Yeah, it's a very supportive city, definitely. Like I said earlier, it's quite because it's small, it's quite easy to get a fan base. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But what I want more Hull artists to be like, though, I want us to be like you said, like we are starting to be more proud of where we come from, but I want us to be like really proud and wear it like a badge. Like we need to be like, I'm not saying arrogant, but we definitely need to be cocksure. Like the thing is with Hull, we are a very humble city, which is definitely a good thing, but we downplay ourselves and we should never do that. Like this city has got a lot of talent, but sometimes you wouldn't think that because we're a bit humble, like we don't want to like ruffle the feathers, but like I personally feel you need to be real cocksure and real confident in your craft. And I feel sometimes it's a bit too nicey, which again is a good thing, but we need to have that competition element. It's all right being friendly with everyone, and that's cool. That is good, and it should be like that. We should all be supporting each other, but also you also need to remember, when you get on that stage, this is my stage, like my stage, and no one's taking this from me. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's the attitude that I've always gone with.
because 9 times out of 10 as well, if you're in that moment, like the audience will enjoy it like a lot better.
Definitely, because it's
Or not enjoying it yourself, they're not going to enjoy it, sort of
yeah,
thing.
And at the end of the day, it's all fun. At the end of the day, like I want everyone from Hull to do well, because like there's no one that's more prouder to be from Hull than me. But
Yeah.
I do like that competition element as well.
I was having a conversation with my friend the other day about this, actually, to be fair. And I found that like if like you can be anyone who you want to be on that stage, like no one's gonna like kind of say, oh look, they're doing that. It's more like not having a good time, enjoying yourself on that stage. Like I said
Yeah.
to you, the audience are going to enjoy it a lot more. And like I said, like compared to if you stood still, like kind of not really enjoying or being proud of what your music is, or like kind of craft, like you say. And I think that's something in Hull as well. That's quite what I've noticed from a lot of bands is quite good. They kind of do earn like their music and what they do.
Yeah.
Hold back, and I think that's something that's made people like the supportive scene in Hull and kind of just make it more enjoyable, and like people, do you know what I mean? Like enjoy it more.
Yeah. Definitely, there's some good front men in Hull, and there always has been. We just need to continue that.
It's not even just the frontman now. I feel like it's like the whole band situation or the whole artist. Like if you're even in like sort of like say if you're in a rap group or like band or something like that, if everyone is enjoying themselves, it's kind of like we're all together in it, and it's kind of like a big family in a way. And that's how I kind of describe Hull sometimes, like a big family. Like I've gone to gigs on my own and it's like, oh my God, I'm enjoying the gig. And then there'll be someone next to me enjoying it and I'll enjoy it with them, sort of thing.
Yeah. There's some good. I don't go out. You probably have to educate me now, because I'm not really on the Hull circuit that much anymore these days. So I don't really know what's going on. Like obviously I know the Sesh Mac and them guys down there, they've been creating amazing environments for years. So like
the Adelphi and place like that.
Yeah.
Good gigs, not just like in the same sort of genre. It's like a bit for everybody. Like all sorts of things, like electronic music, like rock, like everything. Like it's around the corner to me. I go down quite often.
Is it still busy in that down there and stuff?
Yeah, it's still all right. It's kind of like it's one of those venues. I don't think it'll ever kind of die down. Do you know what I mean? I think it's always gonna be one of those, like it's like a heart to hold sort of thing.
No, that is a good thing about Hull, man. Like people really do get behind their artists.
Yeah. Obviously, kind of speaking about like Hull culture and like the sort of venues and things that have been like available, like Humber Street Sesh. I think that's been quite a open thing at the moment. Like, obviously, I think you played in 2019. I think, yeah.
Yeah. 20. That was it. When was this? No, it was 20. I headlined that the one that was in Queen's Gardens. Was that? I can't even remember the years. Man. So was that 2021? That one. That was 2021, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it was just after the pandemic, wasn't it?
Yeah. 2021. 21. Yeah.
Maybe, so okay, going off that one then. Have you kind of seen obviously like Sesh recently, like Humber Street Sesh recently, like through press? Like, what would you say like the differences between like obviously when you played to like how the like most recent ones have been? Would you say there's like any difference between those two festivals? Obviously, it's meant to be the same sort of thing.
Oh, the Queen's Garden one was good, like really good. I can't speak too much about it though, because literally I did only get there before my slot
Oh, that's fair enough.
So for that one, I can't really comment too much on it. But all I know is the crowd was mad. The crowd was real electric, and I feel like they really needed that because obviously, with it being lockdown, they missed out on Humber Street Sesh or any sort of live music. So I feel like that one was a real moment because it was like, yes, we're back out there seeing live music, like let's make the most of it. And I really benefited from that. And
A bit
it
more
was
of a
that,
comeback sort of thing.
yeah, it was a real big comeback, and like the whole people was out in full support. This is what I mean, like they really do ride for their local artists. Like Humber Street Sesh is it's just a great day. Do you know what I
I think
mean?
like on the street fest as well, it's one of those things because it's so varied in like music,
Mm,
it can
yeah,
bring everybody together, not just like you
yeah,
go to a gig, say at the Adelphi or at Polar Bear, it's kind of all the same sort of genre in that night. But then you go
mm,
to session, you can kind of go see a bit of acoustic, a bit of rap, a bit of
yeah. It's great. Like Mac and them guys have really done a good job by being so consistent with it.
yeah, no,
Do you know what I mean? And I know they've definitely had their obstacles with like the council and the people like Wykelands and people like that. Like, but they've still been able to pull out a brilliant festival. Like, do you know what I mean? I've got nothing really bad to say about that festival. Like, it's given me some great opportunities. I performed in front of massive numbers. They've always gave me good slots, and they've always been real supportive. And I feel like any artist from Hull, up and coming or even seasoned, should always be playing that festival, to be honest.
has like obviously like playing gigs within like Hull and obviously where like other places that you've played, would you say like the people you meet along the way has also kind of helped you in a sense of like say you meet an artist, you kind of switch like contacts in a way? Do you do that as an artist yourself or
Yeah. I feel like
right?
the best time is or the best way you can network is normally at gigs. Do you know what I mean? If you're supporting an artist or even just in the crowd, you never know who's watching. You know what I mean? Like,
Definitely.
so yeah, it's always a good opportunity to meet new people and enhance your contact list, definitely.
Yeah. Obviously, so there's like obviously there's a music side in Hull and like Yorkshire sort of thing. But obviously there's a lot of
Mm.
other places such as like culture and kind of things to do, places to go. Like
Mm.
what's like your favorite place to, like eat and drink sort of things? My personal is Fairley and Co. Like I like to spot smaller businesses.
All
Where would
right then, yeah.
like is
So my favorite place to eat, I got to shout out the Kurdish community on Springbank.
okay, yeah.
Uh, I normally go to the Kurdish restaurant quite a lot, the one on the corner opposite Tesco's. So I probably, you know what, like I probably go there the most to eat, to be honest. Good food, great service.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, man, I'd say that's my joint really. In terms of drinking, it varies. I've got everywhere, man. Like
What you want,
if
really. Yeah.
depends what I want, what vibe I want. Like if I want to chill with the hipsters in HU5, I might take a little trip down there. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we put on our events actually at Art House on
Oh,
Princess
yeah.
Avenue.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we go there quite a lot. Don't mind the drinking in Polar Bear. Might pop in Dive as well. Gardener's Arms on Cot Road. You might see me having a bit of like a pint or two in there. Yeah, man, I'm more of just a local guy. Like I'm a bit too old for the nightclubs and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So
I mean, to be fair though, like being more local, I don't know, there's something about it. I kind of like, I prefer going to like more of a local place in a club because I feel like
mm,
you're able to kind of enjoy yourself a little bit more and chill out a little bit more instead of having like the stress of loud noises all the time around you. You can kind of hear what's going on.
I'm
But I
definitely
kind
more of a pub
of do
man
enjoy
now.
the club sort of thing myself. I don't know,
Mm,
it's one of those things, isn't it? But
definitely.
that's not just me. What would you say, like, obviously, okay, kind of keeping out of like the drinking and obviously the food side, like, if you was to do something like, oh, like I'm bored today, like, what would you go and do in Hull, like staying in Hull? that makes sense. What would you go
If
and
I'm
do?
going to be, if you want me to be real honest though, I do think I think like the nightlife in Hull's really struggling.
Mm,
Like I
yeah.
think it's really, really poor. Like I'm not gonna lie, like some of the places you have to resort going to now because
Yes.
there's nothing really going on. Like I feel like that's something that we really need to do as a creative community and like whatever community it falls under to try and attract people into the town centre. The town centre's dead. I,
Yeah, I find that things are kind of more out of the town centre now. Like
yeah,
I find myself down the avenues quite a lot now. Kind of Cottingham Road area. Like I feel like
mm,
that area is kind of more of the things to do area more than town.
yeah, but I feel like that's a problem
Yeah,
because if you go to any other city or any other town, the town centre's normally you normally find that's normally where you go in it. Like when you say if you go to like Liverpool or Manchester or somewhere like that, you go to the city centre. That's where all like the decent shops are, the decent food is. If you want to have where all the decent bars are, if you want to go to a club where all the decent clubs are, that's not the case with Hull. And in my opinion, that's a real problem. Considering it was only the city of culture like not so long ago,
yeah, that kind of
I'm
thing.
always
Yeah, no, I know.
yeah, I'm always complaining about that. Like the legacy is poor. Like like I don't know what it's left because we're not. I wouldn't really say we're like a affluent city because you want people from out of town coming to Hull.
And kind of
That's what
explore.
you want. Yeah, you want that. You want that. It pours money back into the city and things become more livelier. I
Yeah,
feel like there's little
and then
pockets of
that's the whole thing
spaces that
that will bring the opportunity to people again. Like,
yeah. And that goes back to what I was saying about like in terms of like what I feel is like lacking in terms of the music industry with like we haven't there isn't like I say there's no big buildings here. There's I don't know like there's no like I don't know there's no businesses that
that's
people
not.
wanna come like why would like a big firm want to put their one of their offices in Hull or in
Hmm.
the city centre. They wouldn't want to because unfortunately it's a ghost town. It's dead.
Yeah.
So I feel
There's a
like
lot
we
of
need.
places for opportunity though in Hull. Like there's a lot of like say like empty shops. Like there's opportunity to kind of bring
Oh
something in.
yeah,
And then I feel like
there's
you said, that will bring Hull kind of
yeah there's
again out
there's
of the
loads of
avenue.
empty units. You walk down Whitefrogate in town,
Mm.
it's dead. There's loads of empty units. There's loads of places where people could invest.
Lots of potential.
We yeah, there's law. That's the thing. Like I've always said, Hull potentially is a gold mine. Like it's potentially, it's amazing. I
Mm.
just, I just would like to see some more investment, I suppose, in the city centre.
Yeah, I get what you mean with that. Like it definitely will help Hull thrive as like a whole city in general. So
Because I
I know
feel,
yeah.
because sorry to interrupt you, but because I feel like in Hull, unfortunately, there's only ever one popular place at a time.
Yeah,
It always moves. It always moves. So like at the minute, the avenues are I support. So well, like it was Newland Ave at one point. Now it's gone back to well, wait, if you're talking my age, like the city centre was booming. Then you'd have like Beverly Road. Like there was loads of pockets that were booming. Like, but now there's always like one popular place to go, and then everywhere else struggles. And it shouldn't be like that. Like the population of Hull hasn't decreased. There's
yeah.
more people in Hull now. So where's everyone going?
It's almost
So
like everyone's kind of following each other in a way as well. So it's kind of that whole they kind of
yeah, man.
oh, this is good, but then everyone goes there and it's kind of like
I just think there's
happen to
room
not
for there's room
successful.
for yeah, there's room for loads of places to flourish. I believe not just one section.
Yeah. Maybe like there should be like something like a campaign at some point, like that kind of tries to bring like the whole of Hull together instead of just sections, like you said. Like kind
Yeah, no,
of like almost like the City of Culture where they had things in like kind of different parts of Hull and it kind of brought people to them parts of Hull. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
I think it kind of City of Culture when it was a thing did definitely help Hull and it
mm,
I suppose it's starting to sort of degrade now, and it's kind of a shame to see.
Yeah.
But saying that, obviously there's a lot of amazing things about Hull. Like the music scene's great. Like
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
do, and I think it's obviously definitely you're gonna find something to do, and it's gonna be somewhere that you're not gonna like be
Yeah,
completely bored, and it's gonna be, you know what I mean, there's
yeah.
always something new, and hopefully more people start bringing things into the city.
No, definitely. But to answer your question, if I was gonna do something, if I was bored, I'd probably just go to the studio, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm probably the
I
same.
would.
So we are actually like nearly running out of time. Is there anything you'd like want to kind of finish off on, or anything that you'd like to kind of say, kind of on like an ending sort of for this at all?
Yeah. I feel like just more. I just want to see more diversity. I'm gonna say just in this music scene, and that's me just being picky because everything in the whole music scene at the minute is running decently. Like everyone's thriving. Like and probably get people need to come out a little bit more as well. Go to your local gigs. Go support like Mac at the Sesh and like any local gig you can find, try and go because your local artist will definitely benefit from performing in front of decent crowds.
I suppose it's the whole thing of kind of just being like a bit open-minded about what's there, and
Yeah, definitely, because there is stuff there, isn't there?
yeah,
There is
yeah,
stuff there. I feel people are sometimes just a little bit more
yeah,
lazy now because everything's just so accessible now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, no one wants to just go out and find like the new version of the acts that they're like. Do you know what I'm saying? And like, they're always like quick to sort of support artists from outside of the city when you've got brilliant artists in your own city. So yeah, people need to get off the backsides and go to local gigs.
yeah. No, I fully agree with you on that one. Yeah, cool.